All right, Taurus. It's like you're riding the wave. There's good and then there's bad, and then there's good and then there's bad, but we'll see how your spread plays out here. So, for some of you here with jealousy, you may be dealing with people that are making you feel bad to the point here where things are just kind of passing you by. Now, Taurus, this week from Lay Vampire, you pulled jealousy, envy, punishment, and changing course. And then from Chakra Wisdom, you pulled dissipating. Now, jealousy, the blessing says that you need not accept what people say about you. You are beyond their judgment. Their words are false. You need never live up to them. You are trustworthy and a beautiful soul. Working with this card says that you can rise above this and be true to yourself. Live through example. Be strong. This time will pass. Remind yourself and others that those who speak ill of all in their turn. None shall escape their turn. Now, the curse, though, with this says there can be cruelty, bullying, and difficulty in life. There is something of this about you at present. Words can be harmful. Take steps to minimize the impact. So basically, I feel like for some of you, there may be somebody who is extremely jealous of you. Jealous of what you have, and what they're trying to do is punish you. And unfortunately, with dissipating, it may be succeeding here. Now, the inspiration says, beware of being imprisoned by the story you tell. Do you intend to do what you say? The personal question says, a lack of planning does not indicate misfortune. Am I doing what I say? The key ideas are taking action, content to dream, going in circles, strong intelligence, making excuses, and procrastinating. But I think for a lot of you, the reason why you're going in circles, again, is because there's punishment coming from somewhere else. All right, Taurus, here we go. Here's the energy coming through, the Eight of Coins. So busting your ass, working really hard for the things that you have. The financial aspect there looks fantastic. The Eight of Coins is about refining your skills. Where like with the Three, you're just showing off your talents and getting some initial recognition here, but you're really refining what you do with the Eight of Coins. But for a lot of you, you're putting a lot of effort into something. Oof. And in the past, the Page of Swords. So, there again is the bullshit that's being said, especially in connection with jealousy. The Page of Swords, the messenger of conflict. I don't like it. The Page of Swords bothers me. In terms of what you need to do with this, the Page of Swords on the positive side is somebody, who is thinking and speaking with intelligence. The other thing too is this is about, being inquisitive, needing to ask the right questions to get the information that you need. But again, going back to jealousy, this may be somebody that is saying something to you or about you. And it's going to have to do with the work that you're doing. It's almost like an undermining type feeling. In the present, judgment. Now, I would be careful with this because you want to be careful about being affected by the judgment of others. I feel like that more so with the Page of Swords being above it. Now, judgment, right? Assessment, atonement, and rebirth. It is about the review and needing to make amends for the past. It's also about hearing the calling. But I think for a lot of you, there may be, having to deal with the judgment of others based on what it is that you do, looking at the Eight of Coins. But I don't know. I don't feel like this is something that prevails. The only reason why it ever would is because, you get sunk into this feeling of self-punishment because of what is being said to you. And that's kind of where dissipating is coming in. Ooh, future conditions, the Five of Coins. Here's the thing. If you're doing something that has a lot of importance to you with the Eight of Coins, whether this is a project that you work on or this has to do with work, period. I worry about the Five of Coins because I'm feeling cast out and rejected. Financially, you may be falling on some difficult times. And for some of you, it may be because you're starting something new and you're having to bust your ass to kind of get back or bounce back from financial strain. But what I'm looking at here, man, don't let what other people say affect what you decide to do. You know, no matter what you do, no matter what you're working at, some people are going to love you, some people are going to hate you, and that's just it. You know, you have to be careful, though, about the judgment of others that, you know, is coming through here. You don't want to let it affect you to the point where you procrastinate and don't do anything anymore. Your best path to follow, the Hermit, needing to shut that shit out. The Hermit, to me, looking at what's going on here, is basically talking about you needing to shut out the outside noise and taking some time to search for your own answers without having to deal with other people and what they think that they have to say about it. Is it really that important? You know, we kind of get to a point, though, in life where we stop giving a shit about what other people think. But when it comes to what you're doing, especially with the 8 of Coins being there, it can be detrimental. And that is where the 5 of Coins is coming in. But definitely with the Hermit being there, you're going to have to take that time alone, to take that solitude, to really think about things here. You know, you don't want to be thinking too much about the things that are being said, but you need to look for your own answers. You know? It feels difficult. But at the same time, I don't feel like this is something that's going to prevail. It's just only going to prevail if you allow it to affect you in such a way that you stop working toward things. In your environment, the Queen of Coins. Now, I feel both. I feel both with this, because looking at the Queen of Coins in terms of Taurus is perfect. But, you know, in terms of dealing with another person in connection to the Page of Swords, this is somebody who is just running their mouth. But, you know, I feel like both. Some of you are going to be dealing with a person who thinks that they have a lot to say about what you're doing and what you're doing wrong at that. Or this is more about you. Being careful about the judgment that you pass on yourself because of what other people are saying. When judgment comes through, yes, we worry about the judgment of other people, but the only judgment you're ever going to face truly is your own. My goodness, it feels like I feel a little bit angry about it, but then at the same time, I feel a little bit beat down. And again, that's the whole going in circles type feeling. But, you know, I would be careful here. Now, even if you are cast aside by certain people, then so be it. You know, especially if they're trying to go out of their way to make you feel bad. Your hopes and your fears, yep, needing to take a break from all that bullshit. The 4 of Swords, though, too, is cutting off that communication. Cut it off. You know, this isn't something that you should be listening to anymore. But what I worry about, though, too, with the 4 of Swords is you don't want to be thinking too much about what is being said. You know, because, again, I'm still looking at that 5 of Coins. You know, you need to continue to do what makes you happy, what you like working at. The 8 of Coins suggests that this is somebody who is happy with what they're doing. They enjoy what they're doing. You know, certainly don't let somebody else destroy that for you, you know. And I really do feel like there's a need here to just shut it out. It needs to be shut out, you know. And with the 5 of Coins there, you know, maybe it's you needing to cast that aside, though, too. Oh, my goodness, Taurus. Wow. Okay, so now the outcome, the Knight of Wands, that's basically telling you you need to continue to move forward with passion. You know, and when you're looking at the Knight of Wands, the Knight of Wands isn't really looking at the long term, but you already have that there with the Eight of Coins. It's already there. But you need to continue working toward the things that you have a passion for, regardless of who may accept or reject you. You know, because I do feel like this is something that you have a passion for that you're doing here. Don't put too much effort into what is being said, though, either. You know, because I'm looking at Judgment and the Five of Coins, and it's like, oh, man, with that Page of Swords, I feel like with the Knight of Wands, you know, again, you need to continue. You need to continue doing what you have a passion for and what makes you happy. You know, don't let rejection stop you. You know, and again, some people are going to love you, some people are going to hate you. So be it. But you can't let it affect you to the point where you feel like things are just dissipating around you. You know, but then at the same time, you're going to have to take a time out here to shut that shit out. With the Hermit and the Four of Swords, yes, stop listening. Stop listening to what is being said. Because there's always the question of truth with the Page of Swords. Whew. All right, Taurus, we're going to take a look at the soul trees to see what other messages we can get for you guys. Purpose. What is your purpose? Transition. And stuck. Again, it goes back to, you know, what is your purpose? What is it that you're working toward? What is it that you have a passion for? Things may be transitioning with this, but you have to be careful about getting stuck. Especially when you're dealing with things like jealousy and things being said that are not true, which I very much do feel like with the Page of Swords. You got to be careful. You got to be careful about getting stuck, you know, and that's the other thing too. I'm looking at that and I'm looking at it next to the Four of Swords. You know, be careful about being stuck mentally. You don't want to go into, you know, a permanent hiatus. You know, but I feel like with the Knight of Wands, there's a spark of passion that kind of comes back and you get moving again, regardless of who is rejecting you. All right, Taurus, we're going to take a look at Whispers of Love to see what messages we can get for you guys in terms of attracting love in your life. The only thing that is real is love. Shift your focus from the problem back to love and what you love. Slow down. When you are excited, you get ahead of yourself. Take some time to allow things to unfold. And that too may be a little bit of a warning with the Knight of Wands. But I feel like for you, you just need to slow down here, shut out the outside noise, take some time to think about what makes you happy, what you have a passion for. But I'm telling you, with the Hermit, you know, don't listen to what is being said, especially by, you know, somebody else that is just jealous of the beautiful things that you have in your life, especially with that Eight of Coins being front and center here. All right, Taurus, so, you know, again, general messages not going to apply to everybody. But this one bothers me because the feeling that I'm getting around this is, you know, there are things that are being said about your work that's not true. It's not true. You know, it's like somebody's intentionally going out of their way to cause you problems. And you know, you know, you guys know how I feel about this, right? When readings come out like this, they come out for a reason. Somebody was meant to hear this, but I can tell you that what I don't like about this is this feeling of being cast aside. It's like you're taking on the judgment from somebody who is not telling the truth because, you know, the Page of Swords, the messenger of conflict. There's always a question of truth with that son of a bitch for me. And it bothers me because I feel like, you know, somebody is intentionally going out of their way to make things difficult for you. And it's because they're jealous. You know, and again, people are, they're going to love you or they're going to hate you. So be it. But damn it, to have it affect what you're doing it makes me angry, but then at the same time, I think that you're doing the right thing by not saying anything. At first I'm kind of like, well, don't go into silence, right? Like, if you need to say something, fucking charge their ass, right? But I think that you're doing the right thing by, not saying anything here. But I worry about how much thinking you're doing about what's being said, because I feel like you stop. You're facing the judgment of somebody else who is not speaking the truth, and then you go to where there's this feeling of being cast out. It's like you bust your ass to get to a point where you're like, no. And then you just stop. And for some of you, you may feel a little bit of financial strain because of this. Now, where you're coming out at, though, with the Knight of Wands, I think you guys, come out of this phase here where, you start moving forward with a little bit more passion. Who gives a shit? Who gives a shit if somebody else doesn't like what you're doing? It'd be different if you were doing something to hurt somebody else, but you're not. Again, the Eight of Coins to me suggests that this is somebody who's happy with what they're doing, and they're busting their ass at it. But you're having to deal with somebody else who thinks they have something to say about the work that you're doing, and it pisses me off seeing it. Now, looking at the Queen of Coins, first of all, in terms of, judgment, you're judging yourself based on lies because somebody else wants to cause you some harm, right? But then on the other hand, when you're looking at the Queen of Coins, like in the reverse, this is somebody who's lacking security. They feel insecure. So this could be somebody with the cackling hen syndrome. Now, on the other hand, this is you feeling insecure about what you're doing because somebody else is running their mouth, basically. And the Hermit's saying, no, you got to shut that shit out. You need to take some time for yourself and just push all that crap out. This is not stuff that, you should be listening to. I don't like how it affects you in the long run, but I do feel like these two are very opposing. I think you feel enough strain to the point where you're like, you know what, I don't care anymore. I'm just going to go ahead and go forward with passion, which is good. Now, in terms of the soul trees, what is your purpose? It's starting to transition, but then you feel stuck, right? It's like you're working on what you feel is your true purpose. Things start to transition here where you may be taking on, the negative energy of other people. But again, I don't feel like this is a situation that you intentionally attracted. It just reminds me of somebody who feels like they need to say something, and it's like, why? If you don't like me, why are you saying anything? Just, kick fucking rocks, get moving, right? But stuck, you have to be careful about getting stuck, because I see that with dissipating, and again, it's not going to apply to everybody, but there's like this anger and frustration, but I feel like Taurus is doing the right thing. I think you're doing the right thing by not saying anything and not getting like directly involved in it. But be careful about how much insecurity you start to take on because somebody else wants to run their mouth. Now, in terms of whispers of love, the only thing that is real is love. Yes, that is the truth, right? And even if you're dealing with negative people, my husband tells me that instead of getting upset and getting angry and saying something that I'm going to regret, he says, all you got to do is say, namaste, motherfucker, namaste, and walk away, right? So basically that's where Taurus is. Now, right, you need to take your focus away from the problem and back to love. And then not only that, but even when you deal with difficult people, needing to see the good side of them, right? But, also here you need to slow down. You got to slow down when it comes to taking on things from other people. Because again, you guys know me. I say it all the time when the Page of Swords shows up. It could suggest a situation that has a lot of conflict around it. But what I'm seeing is somebody going out of their way to try to make you feel bad. And I don't think it's right. But Taurus does the right thing. So, whatever it is that you're working on, the Eight of Coins to me suggests that this is something that you're happy with. You've busted your ass doing this, right? Don't let somebody else break you to the point where you just kind of give up on it, because these two bother me. You know, but again, with that Knight of Wands, I feel good about it. I feel like you start moving forward with a little bit more passion. And remember, right? Like they're just jealous. They're just jealous of how awesome you are.